So I feared I had missed the boat on the NBA China fallout situation until I read about how LeBron James jerseys are being dragged and burned through the streets of China. And I'm going to tell you why, as an African American man of color, I don't give a fuck about what's going on in China, let alone Hong Kong, and how dare people try to vilify a prominent man of color like LeBron James. And we're going to talk about it here as you've entered the Sports Opinion Log here in Lex Anderson World. I'm Lex Anderson. So if you're down with all things Laker Nation, NBA, or a Houston Rocket fan, which means you'll never get a championship this season, let alone the future, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay notified for any and all upcoming future videos. Now on to this video. On October 4th, the Houston Rockets general manager, his name is Daryl Morey, had tweeted that he supports the people in Hong Kong protesting about what's going on in China. Okay, China, if you do or don't know, does not have a Twitter. He had tweeted this. And of course, he later on deleted it, but the damage was done. When China officials heard about Daryl Morey, the Houston Rockets general manager, support for the protesters, they immediately started removing any and all things NBA related. Now, let's keep in mind that the Lakers were out there for 2 games, and the Brooklyn Nets were also out there playing them preseason, blah, blah, bullshit. I make this video acknowledging that I represent, first and foremost, Laker Nation. I am not a LeBron James fan. I am not a LeBron sexual. I'm Laker Nation all day, every day. Check out the fucking gear. And I'm sure that this, too, was probably made in China. Now, what happened was that China, pissed off, didn't televise the games on their CCC TV, which stands for Communist China Television, and there were sponsors who pulled out. They removed the logos from the court. They pulled down from the rafters the posters covering the buildings, and they wouldn't. Anyone who was interviewing an NBA player, any questions relating to China and the protests, they took their microphones and removed the reporters from the room. Because China is not America. But China, which has over 1 billion people and has more people in the United States, put it to you like this. China has a $500+ million relationship with the NBA. Over 400 million people in China watch NBA games, which is nearly double the amount here in America. China is also one of the reasons why the NBA has all these lavish TV contracts to give all these players $200+ million. And we can't even qualify for FIBA. But that's for another video. The point of me making this video is that as an African American man of color, I do not give a fuck about the human rights interest in fucking China. Just the way people in China, I don't hear them protesting when there's an African American man of color being gunned down by the cops. Okay? And lately, in case you have or haven't noticed, there's a lot of people here in the hood, like me and my girl, Desi Robin 23. We don't even eat Chinese food anymore because we are more health conscious. We don't want the MSG. We don't want the suspect chicken wings. We don't want the rib tips made by who knows what. Okay? So let's keep the issue where it needs to be. The white man, Houston Rockets general manager, Daryl Morey, he's the one that tweeted about supporting the Hong Kong protesters. He's the one that created this fucking clusterfuck firestorm in the first goddamn place. And now all of a sudden, people want to ask LeBron James his opinion and then bash and vilify the black man? Why does the black man have to be held accountable for the fuck-ups of the white man? See, it's Adam Silver who had to fly out to China and had to talk to Yao Ming. And the reason why this is so big a deal is because when the Houston Rockets drafted and took Yao Ming, David Stern, who was making the NBA a global game, it's the Houston Rockets who are more closely knit to China. No one would have gave a fuck about this shit if it came from the Milwaukee Bucks or the goddamn Portland Trail Blazers. Well, let's go further. Sacramento Kings. No one would have cared. But they care in China because the Houston Rockets have a close relationship with China. Just the way the fan base, the majority of the fan base of the Golden State Warriors, guess where they're from? They're from the Philippines. They're from Taiwan. That red R, Rakuten or Rakuten, they give the Warriors between $15 and $20 million a season to have that red R. But now they actually have the full word now. Because, yeah, if I'm giving you goddamn $20 million a season, I want the full word. Rakuten is an international overseas in China relationship country, or in the area of China, because, China, Indonesia, Philippines, different subsections. But at the end of the day, do you hear people complaining when people in China were literally killing themselves at work because they couldn't handle the stress and the long hours of making iPhones? Do you see people bothering fucking Apple? No, you don't see people bothering Apple when people in China are committing suicide when they report to fucking work. The African American man has enough issues being the African American man in racist America. And I say America because that's 3 Ks. Yeah, you get what I'm talking about. Freedom of fucking speech, which they don't really have out there in China. So it's not really my issue what's going on in China. I work a couple of blocks from the Chinese consulate. And guess what? They've been protesting every day for the last 10 plus years about the human rights violations going on in China. But guess what? As a New Yorker here, Sports Opinion Log, I can't care, nor do I give a fuck, because I don't see any people from China protesting when an African American man or woman of color is being harassed by the fucking KKK police system out here in the USA. So let's not weaken what has to really happen. What has to really happen is that LeBron James has to focus on basketball and bring another fucking championship to my LA Lakers. That's all I need from LeBron, who has a lifetime $1 billion deal with Nike. Oh yeah, Nike, right, whose clothes and shoes are made overseas in China. If anyone really wants to give a fuck, bring all those businesses back here to America, employ Americans, give us a decent wage, and bring back the motherfucking middle class. You think I care about what LeBron has to say or what he now doesn't have to say? Did you hear anybody bashing Westbrook and Harden when they didn't answer the questions from the Chinese reporter, female, who got her microphone taken away? No, you didn't. But I'm here to tell you that's what fucking happened. So what fucking needs to happen is that, in the words of the great George Washington, in order for America to be strong, we must stay out of international affairs. So I support LeBron James on this one. Stay out of international affairs, because I need my Lakers to hang another goddamn banner up in that rafter. Fuck the LA Clippers. Fuck the Houston Rockets and their issues. What Adam Silver needs to do, because white men support each other so much, he needs to hold Daryl Morey accountable for his actions in creating this shit clusterfuck mess in the first goddamn place. But no, people want to vilify the black man as usual. Fuck all that shit. Kill all that noise. Fuck China. That's all I got. Laker Nation, you know what it is. Let's bring this championship back to LA. Until next time, sports fans, Lex Anderson signing out.